I had a full circle conversation with my mom yesterday that I want to share because it is so healing. So healing for me, so healing for her, healing for my daughters, healing for my family, healing for the people around me. And it's magic. It really is magic. And to set the stage a little bit, I am currently writing my book, my memoir. And I'm writing about my sophomore year in high school. And my sophomore year, I had a language arts teacher by the name of Miss Starkey who required us to write 10 pages a week in a Big Chief notebook. And that was my first experience in journaling. And in those journals, I've gone back and I'm rereading those journals right now from when I was 15 years old. And in those journals, I was so angry. I was so mad at the world. I was so bitter. I was upset. And it was stemming around the fact that my mom married a guy. She met him, I think, when I was 13, married him when I was 14. And by the time I was 15, it was not happy. But he was a very controlling, manipulative, emotionally abusive man. And it was wreaking havoc on me as a 15-year-old. And I really had lost my mom. I really felt like I did not have my mom anymore, that I felt abandoned. And as I was going back and reading these journals, I was thinking to myself, I need to release this still. I need to release my 15-year-old feelings. And so I decided to talk to my mom, but yesterday I did it completely differently than how I've done it in the past. I did it safely. I did it by saying, Mom, I'm not bringing this up to hurt you. I'm not bringing this up to relive the past or rehash anything. I'm bringing it up to release it. And I think by entering into the conversation that way, it was like a safety valve for her. It gave her permission to be honest and to hear me. And that's been my biggest thing, is that I haven't felt heard. And in reading my journals, I was not heard. My mom would say, well, Jim, just let me know, please tell me how you're feeling. And so I would tell her how I was feeling, and then she would say, well, that's wrong. And I don't think she said it was wrong because she thought it was wrong. I would tell her that I did not like Sid. I did not like the man she married. I told her that before she got married. I said, I don't want you to marry him. And she'd been a single mom for a decade. She wanted help. I get it. I completely understand. And I went into this conversation also as a parent, because I have two daughters of my own now. And I have been in a marriage of my own now that I had experienced some things, not to the same degree that she did, but some things that she experienced in her marriage. So I was heartfelt. I was open in this conversation, and what came back was just beautiful. So I told her straight up, I said, Mom, I was very, very angry with you. I really was hurt. I felt like I lost you as my mom. And she just said, well, you did. Straight up, well, you did lose me. And she acknowledges that. And that is it was great to hear her acknowledge it. It helps me realize that I wasn't crazy. As when I was 15 years old, I wasn't nuts thinking that it was my fault. I mean, they had me go to marriage counseling. He had me go to marriage counseling with them because I told my mom that I didn't like him. So then I had to go to marriage counseling? That doesn't make any sense. And I told my mom that, and she's like, he did crazy things like that all the time. He was just very illogical. So that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that yesterday I went back and I was talking to my mom, and because I think I opened the conversation with safety, she then went on to say, I am really, really sorry that happened. And I hate that happened that way to you. And what she said next was really profound to me. She said, I just didn't have the words. And that means so much to me, because not only did she not have the words to talk to her husband and help change the situation, but she didn't have the words to tell me what was going on, or that she loved me, or that the way I was feeling wasn't crazy. She didn't have permission back then to tell me that Sid was mean. She was trying to make a marriage work. And I understand that now that I have been married, that I am a parent. And I understand more now what it's like to be a parent, and to not have the words sometimes that you wish you had. And she went on to say that, she never received love from her parents, that she didn't ever remember her dad telling her that he loved her. She knew that he did, but he never said those words to her. So that just means a lot. That means that, she didn't get that feeling. And so she was conditioned that way. And that helps me have more compassion for her, to understand her more. And she went on to say that, she really, again, wishes that it wasn't that way, and that she didn't have the words in the relationship with my dad, before they got divorced. And so the fact that she didn't have the words really, oh man, it was so profound, because then I didn't have the words. And the fact that she didn't receive love from her dad showed me something that I had read in my sophomore journals, that as a 15-year-old, hormones are going crazy. I wanted a girlfriend so bad, but I didn't really know how to be a boyfriend. I was never taught. And so I would write about all these different girls in my journal. And then I actually I went to a dance with a girl. She was new to the school. And I had the chance to like somebody, or that somebody liked me. And that was something I wanted so badly at that time. And yet I wrote in my journals that I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know what to do with it. And so it's like, I wanted so bad for to have a girlfriend. And when the currents actually started flowing my direction, I didn't know how to swim in those waters. And then I after talking to my mom yesterday, I realized more. It's like, well, I was never taught that, just like she was never taught that. And she said so many things yesterday that were very profound, that I'm very grateful for. And I just know that it was generational healing yesterday. And then something more magical happened. I have a live-in caregiver, Julie, that she and I talked about things. And she had said to me a week ago, she goes, Jim, would you ever talk to your mom about this? Would you ever tell your mom that you felt like she left you? And I said, I don't know. I was worried about telling her. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And so I did. And so yesterday I told Julie that I talked to my mom. And Julie and I had an amazing conversation. And it's just beautiful to be in this space where I am now. In my apartment now is a healing environment that I have created. And it wasn't that way for so long that I didn't know what that healing was like. And now I have people around me that hear me and talk to me, and that I'm able to talk to in a way that I couldn't as a 15-year-old. And so yesterday, Julie and I were talking, and she is the mother of 4 daughters, and she was a single mother of 4 daughters, and she was not able to tell her daughters that she loved them. She was not able to give them hugs. She was not able to express love to her daughters. She said that, oh man, she started crying when she was saying this, but she said, Jim, I just couldn't do it. She's like, she had this like repulsed feeling, a visceral feeling when she told her daughters that. She goes, I don't know why. I don't know what it was about it. I don't know why I felt that way, but I did. And she cried, and she's like, it just hurt me so bad. And as an adult mom, I have said I'm sorry to my girls over and over again. I cannot express to them enough how much it hurt me to not be able to do that. And so in Julie's tears last night, I saw my mom's pain in a way that I've never seen before. to know that I know she loves me. I know that she's always loved me. And she just didn't have a way to express it. And she was in a difficult situation, just like Julie was, as a single mom, raising 4 girls and not being able to feel love. It was heartbreaking and heart opening at the same time, and just so profoundly eye opening as to what my mom was really going through. And that, for her to say, you did lose your mom. I wasn't there for you. I know how hard that is. And as a parent of 2 amazing daughters, I have really changed the environment that I want my daughters to be living in, and to let them know that I want them to be able to say whatever they can to me. And they know that. That doesn't mean that the things that happened when I was married hasn't affected them. I just want them to know that they can tell me. And I was able to tell my mom that yesterday, which is so amazingly healing. That 15-year-old boy who was not able to say it 41 years ago was able to say it yesterday. And so there's the full circle moment of the 15-year-old actually having the chance now to express his anger and his hurt and his pain and have it heard, that in a way it wasn't back then. And I just felt so much energy releasing. I took that elevated emotion into my electric body meditation today. I'm on a self-created 90-day electric body challenge right now. Today was day 50. And so this morning, I took this elevated emotion from this conversation yesterday into my electric body meditation. And woo, I had energy flowing through me. And it was, it felt like things were connecting. It felt like the windows and the doors to my body were being opened and the light was shining in. It felt like I was vocalizing, because at one point I was up in Energy Center 8, and I just let out a yell that was visceral and primal, and it just felt amazing. It felt like decades of hurt coming out of my vocal cords. And I hope I hope that I get a noise complaint from my neighbors, because it would be worth it. But I let that out. And that is just like, it's so cool, because right now I'm writing my book, and it is about vocalizing it. It's about getting it out of my heart through my vocal cords. And this is so amazing, you guys, because I am expressing with my hand right now, and this hand hasn't been moving as much. So I'm writing my book with this finger and my vocal cords, because I'm not able to type right now. But with this finger and thank God for voice to text, because that's how I'm writing my book. And just being able to do this and express is something I haven't been able to do lately. I'm feeling more energy flow through me. And as I am, as I am expressing this is healing in action. This is what healing looks like as it's happening, because I am healing emotionally, spiritually, energetically. I am healed. Healing looks different. I've been doing Dr. Joe's work for 6 years now, and I've always thought that healing was me standing up out of my wheelchair. And that still is healing, but that's not the only healing. In the 6 years, I am emotionally the best I've ever been in my life, energetically the best I've ever been in my life, and spiritually, I didn't mean to flip you off, and spiritually the best way I've ever been in my life. But that is a huge step for me. And I'm writing about my sophomore year in high school right now, 15 years old, 41 years ago. I'm writing about that. and getting it out. And that's chapter 3 in my book. And I am living the last chapter of my life right now. I am in the last chapter of my life right now because this is the healing. I'm writing my book right now with my index finger. I will be typing, look at that. I will be typing the last chapter of my book with both hands. I'm getting that movement back. And so that is healing. And talking to my mom yesterday is a way to bring this all together. Talking with Julie yesterday, seeing her tears and understanding that my mom felt that way. My mom felt constricted and collapsed and a victim to the world and to her situation and didn't have the words to express it. That's okay. I was so mad. I've been so mad for so long. You know, when you're pointing the finger at somebody else, there's 3 more fingers pointing back at you and thumb pointing up at God. But for so long, I've pointed the finger at other people. And yesterday, I let the blame go. And I said, Mom, I don't blame you. I'm not blaming you for this. I gave her that. And, you know, I've said those things before, but I wasn't in the place to say it the way I said it yesterday. And a year ago, I couldn't have read my sophomore journals because it would spin me out of control. It would take me down a spiral of feeling those old feelings. And now, at this time in my life, I'm reading my journals. That was my very first experience journaling. And since then, I have dozens of journals, but I'm able to read these journals now and to write about it. And, you know, I'm writing my book. And my hope is that my book can help at least one person heal. And it's already doing that because it's helping me heal. In the writing of my book is the healing, is my healing. And so in the writing of my book, as I'm using this finger right now, I'll be able to type because that's the healing. And my physical 3D body is catching up to my emotional body, my energetic body. And the proof, I don't need the proof. The proof is already here. It's like, that's a big thing is I've been looking for the proof for so long. And it's really about noticing yesterday, noticing how big that conversation was yesterday. It doesn't need to be necessarily this great big pop, this great big pineal gland pow, although I'm getting those too. I had a great one this morning. But it's also the conversations in the meantime that are helping the energy flow. Whew, wow, it's nice. It's so good to feel this, to acknowledge this. When I met Dr. Joe in Niagara Falls in 2023, he told me, notice the small things, Jim. You've got to notice the small things. And this conversation I had with my mom yesterday wasn't small, but those are the types of things we got to notice along the way. I got to notice these along the way because this is healing for me. This is healing for my mom. This is healing for Julie, for my daughters, you know, and I'm reparenting me. I'm reparenting my mom. I'm continuing to parent my daughters in this way. And that's all I could ever hope for. You know, that's what I want. I want to be the best father I can be, the best man I can be. And in entering this conversation with compassion and safety yesterday with my mom, it opened up doors. And that's something that 6 years ago when I started this work with Dr. Joe, unfathomable, absolutely unfathomable that I would be able to have this conversation with my mom at the depth and the level and the understanding and the compassion that I had yesterday. There's no way I could have done it 6 years ago. So that's healing. And whew, man, it just feels good. It feels so good. So, as always, I pass on love, love, and love with the understanding, with the push, with the keep going, keep going, keep going. Because that's been my motto for a long time, to keep going. And as I keep going, I run into things like this. I find things like this conversation with my mom, with Julie, and it just helps me realize and acknowledge the healing that's happening right now. This is healing in action. This is what it looks like. Love, love, love. Keep going, keep going, keep going.